Great, so, I don't remember the phrases of the meeting. So we're convening the Arts Commission on, Wednesday, July 12th, 2023. Robin Ovney, Chair, present.
Emily Co-Smith, Commissioner.
Cassie Dickens, Commissioner.
Leah Basile Lazarus, Commissioner,
Great.
here.
Okay, thanks. So, are you gonna put the agenda on the?
Oh, yeah, let me do that.
I've got, Tiffany and I were just talking about the agenda and not doing a printout and just projecting it.
Great.
So, so we don't waste paper. Or if you have it on your laptop.
Oh, there. I was like, what is that? Is that from that paper?
That's
I guess it's a-
No, it's me. Let's approve the minutes of June 21, 2023. Does anybody have any issues or questions or corrections?
No.
All good? Do you have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
I second the motion.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, so let's talk about some of the completed endeavor projects,
Okay.
which Tiffany has brought show and tell. So, and so the first one is a coloring book, which we did with, and also Colette and I helped them with that through PAL. And it's great. I mean, they did an amazing job. I can't believe they did it so quickly. And I want to know Carrie Ann's secret for getting artists to deliver on time, because that is in such a short notice. I mean, because she really did a great job. So there's a release party this Friday. If anybody wants to come, an open house in the Netshed parking lot. And I think they're also painting the DWA off. They're doing something, because I noticed something on Facebook that somebody was working out in the parking lot. Are they painting it? Yeah.
Yeah, they're repainting the offices and updating it.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah, I could use it. Little crusty. But you can pick up a copy. And I told Colette that I would pick up a bunch and bring them up to the art show booth, the Peninsula Art League booth. And I'm sure if you wanted to take a few to the
Farm market.
the farm market, yeah, that'd be great. So anyway, so really successful project. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, super fun. Look at those.
They're so cute.
Mhm.
They're very nice drawings.
Yeah, aren't they?
Yeah, it turned out really well.
Yeah, we worked with, we looked at the artists that she had, and then we kind of just assigned them, like places. I just think it's adorable, you know.
Yeah, it's adorable. Yeah. I love these. I love the Native American ones. Yeah, they're very nice.
Yep.
Great. Oh, I hadn't seen that one. Oh,
That's
that's great.
great too.
Yeah.
A lot
All
of detail.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and really nice for the artists. And what I also really like is because of the Endeavor grant, and they got some other money too, but they did pay the artists. Not a lot, but something.
Oh, cool.
And I think that's always great. It's
Yeah.
always great to like not be saying, hey, can you give me this for free? So, so anyway.
I also like the fact that they showed all the artists, the young children, their artwork, because I think that's just validating the fact that they're also good artists. So.
Right, that even though certain people
Right.
got the cover or whatever, yeah, we talked about that, and I really, it's just enough to give them recognition, you know?
Right.
Yeah,
I think it's good. I think.
you know, it was tough, I mean, they're just also adorable, you know, some of them, and, yeah.
Great. It's great.
Yeah, and then the back is just, I love it, because she's like, we got a blank page on the back, I'm like, and then she came back, then Carrie Ann came back with this and said, I love that, I just thought that was
Yeah.
perfect, you know? So, anyway, great. So yay, I think that's a really successful one.
Mhm.
So, and then we got this picture from, this is from Hands on Art, right?
Mhm.
And Leah, I'm not sure, well, actually all you guys probably don't know. Hands on Art is this great program. Are you
Mhm.
familiar with it?
In the schools.
Yeah, in the
No.
schools.
Okay.
And what they do is they focus on different artists every year. You probably remember from reading their application. But, and then they teach them about the artist and then work in that style, which is
Okay.
great. Like, so I think this year, is it Warhol? Picasso, they did Picasso. So you got all these great like collage, you'll have to see it in person next time, Leah. But they've got all these great Picasso collages, it's wonderful.
Nice.
I'm sad that as they usually get a grant from the state commission that I'm on. But we had so many applicants this year, like double the amount of last year. I mean, we had a lot last year. That they didn't make the cut this year, so. But I know they get a lot of community support too. It's a
Yeah.
great program.
They do a great job. I have a lot of these on my wall
Yeah,
at home, and my kids, they have fun, and I have, my twins are very different personalities, and they both find some sort of enjoyment in each of the projects.
That's
So
great.
it's really fun, yeah, that they find a way to connect, and I think it's really good for their minds, to get their hands doing something. Yeah,
Yeah, and all the different
Yeah.
mediums are awesome too, the sculpting,
Mhm.
not just, just drawing, but painting, but yeah.
It's very, very
It's really
different, yeah, and they got to work with like Vanessa Lanza, I believe, this year, local artist, to do some cool, everybody has a different method, so it's neat for that they're introduced to that.
yeah, that's great.
Mhm.
Yeah, so those are great.
Yeah.
And then what is this one? There's two here.
Well,
They
there are,
look like the
there
same
should be
one.
several. Those were just thank you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. We have a bunch of thank you notes. I love that people still write thank you notes.
I know.
And is this for the same project?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it looks
And
like-
what- and which one? Oh, this is Hands on Art. project?
Yeah.
Okay. And then this is Hands on Art 2. And, oh, here's their description. They did a collograph, printmaking, Leah. Polynesian.
nice.
tapestry, Geometry wire sculptures, the Hosaki.
Yeah.
Did I say
Hosaki
that?
waves.
How do you say that? The wave guy.
Hakusaki.
Hmm.
I'm not sure.
Hi.
Yeah, Hokusai, the Hokusai wave.
Yeah.
So anyway, great. Anything else? Is that all?
Then there's we've distributed the video from the
Yeah,
spring
the
market.
market.
So that one went
Yep,
out.
that one's out.
And then the Narrows Music Society. So this was their
Mhm.
poster.
oh, wow.
Yeah, they sent a letter about, the concert and how it went and
Teaching the students.
Yeah.
High school, middle school students that got to
Yep.
learn in the master's class.
then they had the free,
Yeah, I love. that
free
they did-
concert.
I love this one. I
Great.
really do. Well, I love them all, but.
Yeah.
Well, so, this is great. So if I'd love to put together a little deck on this.
Mhm.
And I'm happy to do it, because I think what I want to do, probably not in August, but in September. Go in front of City Hall in just a few minutes, at the beginning, and, well, we just want to give you a report on our
Okay.
endeavors grants.
Yeah.
And anybody who can, from the committee who can make it would be great, because then they see what we're doing.
Mhm.
So if we could put some of these in a Dropbox. that would
Sure,
be
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. Yeah?
Yeah.
Something, did you say something, Leah?
No, I just think that's a great idea, putting a deck together for presentation. I think that it's good for people to know what we're doing. And how successful.
Yes, and how successful these projects are, because by September, everybody will have, like, if you have kids, like, oh yeah, that's the program in the schools, or. If you were, saw the coloring book this summer or whatever, that would be great. Okay, so what's next on the list? on the agenda. Let's go down.
Hey, Robin, can I ask a quick question? Do you want the galleries to have a stack of coloring books? How are they gonna get distributed?
Well, they're gonna be at the stores downtown, so I think.
Oh, at the
gallery-
stores, okay.
But
Okay,
there'll also be, did you hear there's a party this Friday? You won't be
Right.
here this Friday though.
I will be there. I will be there. Yes, I think I'll be there. I'll be downtown, delivering artwork and having a meeting and all that stuff. So,
Yeah, so if you
I should be there.
Grab a few for the gallery, I'm sure they'll be open.
Yeah. yeah, okay, I can do that.
Yeah, and everybody's invited to the release party in the NetShed parking lot from 4 to 7.
Okay.
Bring your kids. Give them a color. Okay, creative district update from Port Townsend.
Yeah.
So that was a really great meeting. It was really great to be up there, and Port Townsend is just amazing with what they're doing. They're, I mean, they have a fabulous boat center, they
They're
have,
just amazing.
they're just amazing, period, And it's a lot of years in the making. I mean, it's not like it just, hatched out of nothing. Have you been to Port Townsend, right? So, but what was really great was, I got some really good understanding of how people have set up their creative districts. So it doesn't have to all be, it has to be contiguous, but it doesn't have to all be like right next to each other, contiguous. And the rule is, because Port Townsend has, Fort Worden or Centrum, which is way out in Fort Worden. And then they have the waterfront, and then they have an uptown area where there's a lot of cafes and bars and things like that. So they have 3 different areas in their plan. And the thing was with the connecting Centrum and downtown was just to find a road that was easily to get from the waterfront to there, or so you could either drive, bicycle, or walk. So we got that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a little more, their roads are a little more like, I'm like, okay, they really stretched this. I understand why. But so we could literally have the waterfront, uptown area, like including like Oceans 5 and that whole area. And then uptown with the movie theaters and the things that are going on there, and the waterfront. I don't know about then extending it again over to TCC, but I don't really think, we'll see in our meetings. But I thought that was really encouraging, because I think that's what a lot of people are wrestling with, which is, well, but then how do we can't leave out uptown and all the stuff they're doing this summer as well. So I think that's encouraging. Our next meeting is going to be in September.
Okay.
Just Leah, just give you an update. The meeting of all of us together, that we had was wonderful for the community. We did a brainstorm, which I have to translate,
Okay.
over the next month. We're gonna meet again in September. But we have a really good basis now from which to build and break into teams and things like that. And our group list is expanding, because we had some that were the same, but others. And I also had lunch with Miriam Batson, delightful, and she had some really good clarifying questions, which I also saw, like, I came back and I said, so in Port Townsend, actually, one of the heads of the creative district committee is one of the restaurant owners. So, because culinary arts are part of that, right? I mean, all of this heritage distilling, that's creative. So once I started saying that to Miriam said to me, oh, I thought you were just talking about creative spaces. And I'm like, no. And I said, that's really great feedback for me to begin to really change the way that I put that out there. I think a lot of us got it because I've been talking about it, you've been entrenched in it and all of that.
Right.
But so I'm also looking to talk to the people at Heritage, to talk to the owners of Bricks 25. We had the owner of Frills at our last meeting. She was there.
Right.
So those type of things that also fall under
Yeah.
this, and then how we begin to describe it. And so that's kind of where we're at with that, but it's really good to see, because like at Port Townsend, the restaurants are as equally involved in this as the arts community and the playhouse and the whatever. And I think and everybody is at different points in, the scope of what they do. So, they already have existing venues. We don't really have existing venues, but that's something that has to be thought of more as long-term. Like it could be part of the strategic plan, but really, when we come into the next meeting, it's more about defining the area and then defining what it means for the city. So I'm really glad that Miriam and I had that conversation, because that's what it is, and that's what it is in my mind, but
Yeah.
right, exactly.
Sometimes when you're too close to it.
Right.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to share that with everybody, that was really good feedback.
Yeah.
So she's gonna help, she's in, and she's
Great.
gonna help extend what the business is and the, Chamber of Commerce. And then once I told her also a little bit about, it's not just it doesn't just need to be the waterfront. She was like, oh, that's great, right? So, because you look at like AR Workshop, which would be part of that whole thing anyway, but then you look at Paper Lux, which now has a studio. Have you been over there, any of you?
To her store, yeah.
I love,
Mhm.
yeah, we live by uptown, so we go to Paper Lux often.
Okay.
It's awesome.
And have you been in her studio? She was
No, I
remodeling it.
haven't been.
I haven't been.
It's right next to the Greenhouse Restaurant,
Okay.
and she held a Mother's Day
Didn't
event
even know
there.
that.
Yeah, she held, and she held a flower, something dear to my heart, which is, she brought in one of the flower farmers in the area, and had a flower arranging
That's
thing.
cool.
Yeah, and she is doing watercolor there. I mean, everybody's doing watercolor, so. But she's looking at that as a creative space
Mhm.
to hold events. So, and what was one of you guys mentioned something else in that area that was a creative shop? I don't know.
I don't know, but there is a gal, she says Gig Harbor, but I think she's on the outskirts of Gig Harbor that just put in like on a residence, and she's doing workshops too. I don't know if it has to be, I mean, she has a Facebook page. I'll have to check to see what her actual business is. But we can add her to the name, because we
Yeah.
did the people,
Or
the
we
names
can
of
do-
people kind of thing.
If you wanna,
List.
reach out to her and then
Yeah.
ask her,
Maybe she wants. to
ask her
start
if she'd
it.
be part of the creative district
Mhm.
or whatever. I just think, right now we're keeping it to kind of just people we're reaching out to, and eventually we'll go out with more public things.
Mhm.
But I just think the more voices, the better is kind of my philosophy. So that's great. So the good news is that people have found the creative district very unifying for their town. And to me, that's the number one goal, right? Like
I
just,
Mhm.
yeah, just to get people in a room talking to each other, like, Leah, when you met Larry Fuller and talked about, some literary stuff and, just all people get connecting with one another. I'm like, if we do that, my bar is reached, right? But the ultimate goal is to try to see if we can get something unified. So does anybody else have any thoughts, or did you guys want to say anything about the last meeting that you were at? Have any thoughts about?
No, I mean, it was, the post-it exercise was awesome. I mean, it just, like, so many ideas that I didn't even remotely even think about, so that was really good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. How about
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I thought that got the creative juices flowing and extending into, like you mentioned, into the like culinary, and bringing Katie and that from Bricks 22 into the conversation and things like that. So I'm excited to see once you compile those and kind of get rid of the dupes and how that comes out. And then also, maybe we'll talk about the next creative district meeting, but did you learn some good what not to do's? And that's maybe more for that meeting versus this meeting.
Yeah, I have to look at some of the notes that I've talked with people, I think it kind of fell into the more positives, but they did do a sticky note exercise too, and they're compiling it. And there was one question about that, but they only kind of like, it was like near the end, but I'm sure I know they're compiling it, and we'll get that back.
Okay,
So I will have some of
great.
that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely good to learn from those who have already gone through the
Yes.
process.
Yeah.
How to streamline and those things to focus on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that will be coming, but, a lot of people I think the big challenge is where does it live, right?
Mhm.
Where does it live? And, I know with Katrina and Tiffany and Josh, we've talked about, and we've had a meeting with Carrie Ann, but they're having so much now that they're doing. I think it's like, okay, well then, if it needs an extra person, how do we do that? Or does it, I think, I don't know, is it knowledge about what has happening with tourism?
Mhm.
Okay, public knowledge, okay.
Yeah.
So the tourism, we did have a marketing and tourism person for the city who is no longer here. And now they're going to move marketing and tourism to the Chamber of Commerce.
Mhm.
So, which makes sense,
Mhm.
but so could it live with the Chamber of Commerce, because this is a tourism effort.
Mhm.
So I think that doesn't need to be decided, but I think that was the biggest challenge that most of the communities had, was to find out the right place for it to live.
Mhm.
Now, I don't think some of them are very small, so they don't have kind of even the Main Street programs or kind of full-fledged Chamber of Commerce like we have. We have my impression is a very strong Chamber of Commerce, so, but that's something that we'll figure out, as we go through. So that's my update on that. Okay, I'm going.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, Leah.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I need to say that you are breaking up a little bit, so I don't hear everything that was said, so I'm sorry. But, the other thing is I am near the town Twisp, TWISP, which is a creative district. And I was thinking of going there today. Should I look for anything there? It's the smallest little town ever, by the way. And is there something I should look at to bring back to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, actually, that's a great question, Leah. And can you hear me better now? I think I was breaking up.
you're-
I was looking at the screen talking to you, so, I guess I would say with Twist, I mean, Twist was kind of, if I'm remembering correctly, wasn't that built on the concept of the old cowboy town? Or was that,
Yes.
was that the one next to it?
Winthrop?
No, I think we drove through it yesterday and they have like one art gallery, I think, and whatever. So yes, it's like a cowboy town.
Well, and I think, yes, Winthrop has like the whole
Definitely.
theme going
Yeah.
with the rodeos and everything. I'd be curious to see
Okay.
what Twisp has done. Like, what are they considering their creative district? What is the area and what's in it,
Okay.
is my question.
Okay,
Because I don't
Okay.
think it's not necessarily a lot of galleries. It might, but it's a
Right.
tiny town. So, I do remember going to a really great farmer's market in Twisp. And I remember going to a really great kind of vintage market in Twisp.
okay, okay.
So I'm curious to see what grab any paraphernalia they might have about it. Any handouts or anything.
Okay, I will.
That'd be great. Yeah, Twisp is, I've been to a 4th of July parade in Twisp many years ago.
Oh, very funny. Very
Yeah,
funny.
we had friends who have a house in Winthrop, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, and I'm sure, Leah, you'll be curious about, if there's any galleries and what type of galleries they are.
Yeah, Winthrop is not a creative district, is it?
No,
No,
No.
okay, yeah. All right.
it's just a creative town. There's a whole bunch of towns. I don't know the history, maybe some of you do. There's a whole bunch of towns in Washington state that have these themes. And I think it happened after the war.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like Leavenworth is a German village.
Right.
And Winthrop is a cowboy town.
Right.
And, you know, and there's like two others, I'm not really sure what they are.
So,
So it was some sort of, it was something about economic development for these towns, so.
we stopped in Leavenworth yesterday because everyone talks about it. And really, at the end of the day, my hour in Leavenworth will be all I ever do. Because
Yeah.
it's cute, but that's about it. So, definitely tourist trap.
Right, exactly, but you know, my daughter loves it, and they go on family vacations there. So, you know,
Of
it's
course.
all interesting, but it's more of a ski town too, I think. But yeah,
Yeah.
but it was definitely built as a tourist destination,
Mhm.
as was Winthrop. But,
Okay,
yeah. But interesting to look at, you know, I want to make a note about that because, I'm gonna take one of these, which we'll each get one anyway. I want to see what the history was about that development program, because that also was a state program.
Oh.
So I think, or a national program to help towns that were losing their economies. Anyway,
okay.
okay, what have I got now?
Sorry.
No, that was a great question. Oh, and when I'm thinking of it, I told Leah about this, I texted her. But speaking of vintage, so there's a store that's going in downtown called Rock and Star or something like that. It's going in where Bougie is. And I knocked on the door Friday when I was walking around town. And because we heard it was gonna be vintage or whatever. And actually, it's a mix. It's a curated mix of kind of really nice vintage pieces and new pieces. So like home goods, like there's beautiful candles in there and beautiful, and there's really beautiful vintage furniture in there and like jewelry and she's a former marketing person. So I, of course, invited her to join us in the creative district and put her on the email list I'll send you. It's opening tomorrow. So it'll be open over this big weekend. She's
Yeah.
smart. And she's already merchandised out till January. So this is someone who
That's
knows
good.
what she's doing. And so I just encourage you to go in and say hi and introduce yourself. She's really happy to be here. And I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to buy stuff. in the store. So, you know, it's like, I think.
Very
people
on
will-
trend.
Yeah, I think when I first heard vintage, I'm like, well, I like a vintage shop as well as the next. Like, I love Josephine's and, you know, Port Orchard, and I think you
think
have
this
a booth there.
I do in Josephine's, yeah. I think
Yeah.
this is more like modern vintage.
It is.
Like 'cause vintage is very, very on trend right now.
Yeah,
If you're a
exactly.
smart shopper for the vintage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I should bring you all one of the books we did about it. So, but I have plenty of them. We printed a lot. But yeah, it is. It's like that. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so perfect, right? And it's not, you know, so I share that for you all to enjoy that.
Great.
And go say hi to her.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the work plan. And you wanna put that work plan up there? Oh, I forgot something, Tiffany.
What's that?
Put a pause on that. So Tiffany put together something really great for us to take with us, and we won't discuss it this time. But she did some research and found some other grant scoring matrices, which are more involved and have like commentary that you can put in there. So when we get questioned about why something was funded or wasn't funded, we have like some material. around it.
Objective, you
Yeah,
know,
objective. It's not
instead of just
a number,
right.
Okay, cool.
okay? So, Leah, I'll probably see you, so I'll bring some to you, but if you wanna
Yeah.
take one each.
But you know, not every category in these are gonna relate to, you know, but yeah, at least maybe a starting off point to get the conversation going and. Because I know that that's something the commission's talked about doing is to establish some sort of criteria or.
Great. And so does it help when?
My
looking at-
computer just went blank.
What's that?
My computer just went blank and it started over again, so I missed a bunch of what you said, but Robin, if you could, we can have a conversation when I get back with what you just talked about. I missed all that.
It's just the quick sentence, it's a scoring matrix, different scoring matrices for the Creative Endeavor Grant to look at that other cities do. That Tiffany found for us, so we can put some sort of criteria behind it more than a number. So I grabbed you a copy, Leah.
Is she there?
She's probably working on it.
Okay,
Yeah, there she is.
I'm having some trouble. I'm so sorry. I don't see anything on the screen and I don't see you guys anymore, so I'm just gonna assume you can hear me and whatever. Anyway,
And-
sorry.
No problem. Luckily, we don't have anything to vote on today, so we're not.
Okay.
But I wanna go over the work plan, just as a reminder. And you can't see it, Leah, but if you have it on your computer, but Tiffany.
I
can you
have it
vote
on
on
my
the work-
computer.
Okay.
We're gonna go. Fit visible. And then there, let's see,
Yeah,
I'm
there.
gonna close this.
So, we did this work plan and I just wanted to go over it. And it's actually perfect because the three of you are the new members.
Mhm.
So I don't think you've probably even seen this.
No, this was helpful.
Okay, so this was based on the creative element that we wrote. And also the goals that went into the revision of, what is it called? I always forget the name.
The comp plan?
The comp plan, thank you. I think of it as a creative element, but in the comp plan. And each year we write some goals out. So we pulled this together and some action items as to what we've accomplished. Oh, you have this from the last meeting. now.
I did. This is like
Yeah,
one of
look
our
at that, you've
first
got
meetings.
notes.
Mhm.
But I just wanted to say like, okay, so what does this mean, really?
Mhm.
And usually what it means is we work on some of these items.
Mhm.
So one item that is up for grabs, and I wanna see if anybody has any interest. Is, so Lynn had this Harbor Arbor art project. That was her passion, and that she's really the one who worked with parks and found the snags and worked with the artists and all of that to make this happen. We still have money for that, am I correct, Tiffany?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that was.
That wasn't used this year. And I guess what I wanted to just throw out there is anybody interested, you don't have to answer now. But if anybody interested in taking that project on, because it needs if to continue, it will need someone to shepherd it. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And I'll also mention it to Sonia and Colette. I know Colette is up to her eyeballs, so she won't be taking that on. I don't know if Sonia really has any interest in it. And I also just wanted to say, while it's been a good program, it's okay if we don't have someone to take it on. Maybe the new commissioner coming on may be interested in it. Do we know who that is yet, by the way?
We have invited the mayor's decision or her appointee to the study session on Thursday. And so that, assuming that person gets confirmed, yeah, it would be Madeline Hunter.
Okay.
She owns French Toast Theater and
Oh,
Toast for
perfect.
Tots, I think.
Oh, very cool.
Perfect. It's good to have a theater person on.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that are actually, they really want a space in this city,
Mhm.
because I don't think they have to go elsewhere, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's much of anything theater
We had to
related.
go across the bridge for the end of the year recital for Harbor Dance. Had to go to Silas High School. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Full of-
Yeah, definitely an issue, we all know.
And did it get, well, I'm assuming it's okay that she can go for Penn Met Commissioner and the Arts Commissioner.
Oh, yeah, I
That's
don't,
been
there,
decided.
I don't
Okay,
think there
that's
would be
fine.
any.
Okay, perfect. She was
oh, is
concerned
she
about
go-
that.
Is she going? for
She's
Penn Met?
running for Penn Met
That's
Commissioner
great.
as well.
Well, we're involved, I mean, Colette and I are involved with Penn Met
Okay, cool.
through PAL. And we're doing some programming for them,
Okay.
so it's okay,
That's fine,
it's
yeah.
not a conflict.
And I run their vendors events, but I'm not a commissioner with.
Yeah.
So that's great. Okay. Cool.
Oh, yeah,
She's
no.
very excited. So
Yeah, we're excited too.
great. She's passionate.
Cassie knows everybody in town, I'm beginning to think.
It's unintentional. It just happens.
Yeah.
Well, it seems to be a pretty tight knit community, the arts community.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know,
There's an
it's very
energy.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool.
yeah,
Cool. All right.
great, okay,
Check
well,
that
that's
out.
good
So
to
that's
know,
good.
I'm
Yeah.
excited,
Yeah.
and she may like that idea, she may not,
Yeah.
I'm really open, I think it's up to us to decide where we wanna put our energy.
Yeah,
You know, even-
I know I can say I have enough on
Well,
my
I-
plate as well.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
won't be able to do that.
And me as well, and Leah as well, so, and so we're down to 2 people, and that's fine if you don't want it. I mean, I think you really have to be passionate about it. Lynn was, and just as I'm, passionate about the creative district, right? You're passionate
Everybody
about
brings
making, yeah,
different stuff to
exactly.
the table.
Leah's passionate about the studios, so I think, nobody, this is volunteer, you get to do what you want, so.
And there's always next year. It doesn't have to end
Exactly.
every year. you know.
Right,
Great.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I know it's been sweet, or maybe it's something, that gets taken on by somebody else, who knows,
Mhm.
Okay, great.
Is
So
Leah still
this
there?
work plan,
Oh,
well,
yes.
I'm not gonna go over it. I'm not gonna go over it because we
Okay.
did go over it a little bit before, I had forgotten that. But I do want you guys to look at
Mhm.
it and see where is an area that you might like to focus on. Because we do have, like, the survey is on here that we'll talk about in a bit. It's easier for me to read it here. But I do think that we're hitting a lot of these in terms of just by the very work we're doing on the creative arts or the creative district. But we are doing, right now, we'll talk about the survey. I don't know if a mural project is something that kind of fell off.
Yeah.
And I knew that was from the previous,
Tourism and communication director.
but I will leave that on there because maybe next year as we
Yeah.
because I do know that Harbor Nest is commissioning a mural for the side of their house,
Oh,
or not the house,
The.
whatever, and that's where the Waterfront Alliance is, and I don't know who owns that building, but somehow they got permission. And it's
okay.
perfect because that's really what you want, is you want something that's on the waterfront, not
Yeah.
way off somewhere
Right,
where nobody is gonna go.
yeah.
And
Wasn't the main issue with that was getting the permission from the owner of a building to hang was that kind of the?
well, she wanted to do these panels, but this isn't gonna be a panel, this is gonna be a mural,
It's
my
actually
understanding
on
on the
the-
building.
Mhm.
And like, if on the other side on Finholm,
Mhm.
that great flower mural, that's.
Oh, on that build, the former firehouse?
Yeah,
Yeah,
uh-huh.
that's cool.
That's cool, and that's the same artist who did the Seattle Wholesale Flowers Market.
Oh, wow.
And then the murals in front of Devoted Kiss,
Mhm.
because I know my friend owns that building, so, and is friends with Devoted Kiss, so
Mhm.
she could give her permission for that.
Mhm.
I think that's part of it, so, and I think there are some other opportunities in the area
Okay.
downtown, so, I think that's a cool project, and some of that we can maybe fold into discussions, because there is money. What I was trying to tell the owner of Harbor Nest about the creative district is there is money for like small projects like that from the state, so you
Cool.
don't have to pay
Oh,
for it.
from state too.
Yeah.
That's great.
Right.
If you're a creative district, you say we're a creative district, you do this, how do you say that?
Oh, Chihui?
Class?
No.
No,
Oh.
oh, then.
Chihuahua.
Oh, the city.
Where Josh is from.
Yeah.
Cause I
Chihuahua.
called it Chilwich, which is a
I think
brand
it's
of
Chihuahua.
placemats.
I think it's Chihuahua.
It's Chihuahua. Josh said, it's Chihuahua. And I was like, oh, he goes, I grew up there. I'm like, really?
That's funny.
I think one of the things that I did want to talk about was the Crescent Creek master planning process. So Tiffany, can you give us an update where the city is with that? Do you know?
Well, it's sort of on hold right now. I think while they're investigating sort of the costs of the Masonic Lodge.
And what is the latest on it? Because I remember there was this whole discussion about, are we gonna just rip it down? Because it's gonna be so expensive and they voted not to rip it down.
Right.
Was it close or was it?
I think, I'm not sure. I'd have to check on that, but I know that they decided not to move forward with that right now to give kind of the, I guess, I mean, there are some community members that have a plan, I guess, and they're gonna be presenting that, so it's kind of up in the air right now.
Is that the former city manager? Is the one, are they the ones that have a plan for it?
I'm not sure. I didn't hear names.
Is it the same building that they just allowed is it the preschool that's in there? They-
Yeah,
and
it's
they
been in there
extended
for
that
years.
lease?
Yeah.
Oh, they
The
extended
city,
the
the
lease?
city
I don't
council
even know.
just extended that.
What the condition? Never mind. I won't go there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what.
So they're trying to decide, it's on hold because they're trying to decide how to.
What to do with the lodge, whether it's gonna get saved, rehabbed, whatever, or not. And I think the bigger discussion is if it does get saved, what will it be used for?
Well,
So,
and that's why we think it would be a good community center, which we talk, I mean. You need to make it bigger and you need to make it accessible and all those things, but, which is why it made
the cost,
the
yeah.
cost, it was less expensive or more economical to rip it down
Yeah.
and build a new, so.
Is that one big property? The whole,
Yes.
like the
Mhm.
the volleyball to the end of the creek? Is that
Yeah,
all
it's all-
one
yeah.
unit essentially?
Yeah, so there could be
Okay.
potential parking there.
Mhm.
and everything.
If the fee, like,
I mean, I don't know how often that volleyball court gets used, so I don't know.
man, it was hopping when I drove out to Lulla Bay Market last time and I drove out there this morning with another delivery and there was someone practicing their serves. Like, good for you. And the tennis court was packed.
Yeah.
You know, cause you've got all of our pickleballers and things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was happy, like, oh, this is really getting used.
Yeah.
I don't know about the track behind it, the dirt track.
Yeah, well, I think it's some of the plans were more to go back rather than take away the volleyball court, but, okay, so. So how do we keep engaged in that? Is there a way we could have someone come to like a meeting and give us an update or who?
Yeah, I mean, I could talk to Parks Manager Jennifer Harrow. When there is an update, I could ask her to come and chat with you guys about it.
Yeah, maybe there'll be something in September.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Who owns the property?
What's that?
Who owns the property? Is it city?
The city,
The city owns the property.
the city bought the Masonic Lodge and the park. It's a city
Okay,
park.
the city park.
Yes.
It's just not a state park or not a PennDOT
Okay.
park,
So
so.
the city owns the building and then would be
Yeah,
paying for.
everything, and then maintenance forever, and, you know,
Gotcha.
so that's the
Cause it would
conversation.
be city funds.
Mhm.
Gotcha, okay.
But, part of the thing with the creative district is you could. If it became part of a larger plan, and this is why I'm like, who should we talk to maybe?
Mhm.
Is it the planning commission? Is it the parks commission?
About,
Well, if the Parks Commission was invited to the first creative district meeting. And I don't think anybody came. But is there a way we can give them an update on what this creative district means? And what we're looking at and the potential, because if it became a community center, then it falls under the creative district,
mhm.
it opens you up for other things,
Mhm.
right?
For a grant,
For-
right?
for a grant, for
To
grants.
improvement.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Let me talk to Jennifer and see, she would suggest.
Yeah, because part of the thing is. because the original historic, it's been so stripped of a lot of its original historic, markers or
Mhm.
whatever, it can't qualify for historic preservation,
Right.
right? Am I saying that right? You would
Mhm.
know that better than me, being an
Mhm.
architect.
Does
But
that open this up to more potential though?
it does, it does.
Less
yeah.
limits,
Restrictions,
Uh-huh,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there is specific funding for historic
Right,
preservation.
right,
so-
but if we can get it in the arts, then I.
Right,
Right,
but
yeah.
if we, exactly, but if we can kind of frame it in terms of this creative district planning effort.
Mhm.
And it's important to, I'm starting to just refer, it's creative district, not creative arts district, creative district, programming. That it does open them up for potential funding for community spaces. Not to mention NEA funding. So there's state and there's also would be NEA, National Endowment of the Arts
Oh,
funding.
yeah.
It has indoor, outdoor space potential.
Right. Exactly.
Kids activities
So
and
I
camps.
think it would be good if we could
I'll chat with her.
chat with her
Sounds good. I will do that.
Cool.
and then to put her on the mailing list for the
September
next meeting. Mhm. Okay. All right, so that covers that. I wanted to get that out there. We are collaborating with Downtown Waterfront Alliance, not on the banners, but we are collaborating with them. And does anybody else have any questions on this? Okay. All right, so, and then we will probably in December revisit this, right, Tiffany?
Mhm.
And, adjust our priorities or whatever.
Well, this is our 23-24 plan.
Oh, that's right. that's
So it's we did it 2 years, so it matches it's with the budget.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so this, we'll probably start talking about it next year.
Next year, good, okay, that's good. And so, while I think of it, I'm thinking about the meeting next month and that maybe we should take August off.
Okay.
Does anybody have any problems with that? Because we already see with July, all the vacation
That's
issues.
great, because I might have to be excused for
I
August
was
anyway.
planning.
so-
Yeah, so there we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's why I was
That's
thinking of it,
fine.
because I'm not gonna be here, we're gonna have to move the meeting if we wanted it, so, because I'm not gonna be here that week either.
I'm
So
not
that's-
gonna be here either.
There you go.
Okay, I think we have.
Decision
consensus.
made.
Yeah, all right, decision made, so we will take August off and reconvene in September.
Great.
All right.
Good.
And then, I wanted to ask you all for some feedback on what's a good time to have the next creative district meeting? Like, we had one from 1 to 3, and we had one from 2 to 4. What do you think? I think afternoon's better than evening.
Yeah.
Right, because people go onto their lives
Mhm.
and their kids. But do you think 1 to 3, 2 to 4? Does it matter?
I think that it depends on
A little bit.
who you want there. So 1 to 3 is easier for me because I am a work from home mom. And it will be in September, so school's gonna be back in session, so
Mhm.
4
That's what I
o'clock.
was thinking about.
A few,
school.
I was,
That's
a
what
couple
I'm
of us
saying.
had to leave early because we had to pick up kids from camp even during.
I
summer.
saw that and I was
Yeah.
like, I think that's why I'm asking, because I thought, I think this one got a little too late, so.
But you might open up to more people if it's an evening, it's not convenient
Right.
for
there's a
me,
limit
but I
on
would
it.
make it happen. So it depends on, do you feel like you're missing people? Or are you capturing enough of the ideal audience during the day? And then if so, I would say during the day or even morning.
Yeah, I think we're okay, because so far we've got a good work group, so I think we're okay. I
Okay.
think when we do our, some public meetings, we'll do evenings,
Mhm.
Okay,
because then you'll,
get more.
get more.
Okay,
And my goal is some of the business owners I want to try to bring in. I mean, if you're talking about a restaurant owner during the day is gonna be better than the
Yeah.
evening. as well.
And a lot of
Um,
people came on that last meeting, and that was pretty much middle of the afternoon. And
Yeah.
so I'd imagine that you get a pretty good turnout each time if it
Yeah.
was, like Cassie was saying, that 1 to 3.
Yeah,
That
so,
was-
okay. So my question for Katrina, because I know she likes to come to these, is what date can we do it in September?
Okay,
And I am also gonna be, I have business travel, I have to go to Albuquerque in September, so I need to, let's figure out what that date is.
okay, let me know when you're gonna be out of town, and then we can kind of pick some dates
Okay,
around that.
alright. Yeah, okay,
Mhm.
so let's do a review of the survey questions. What I did was I went into our old survey that we did and I took out most of the questions. Because we don't need to say, what we're trying to find out is more about, you know, are you a resident of Gig Harbor, which is why I also figured we really shouldn't do it at the art show, give it out,
A lot
because-
of people come out.
because it's a lot of tourists.
Yeah.
So what we really want to do is, we'll do it in the summer at the farmer's market, at
Baker's
your
Market.
Baker's Market, at, what was the other thing? Oh, sound nights, you know, the.
Oh,
the-
yeah.
Like because last night, as Tiffany was handing out cake, she said, anniversary, I was across the street with my granddaughter, you know, at Java and Clay, and they had such a nice, I mean, I know they get a nice turnout all the time. So I think, you know, just 1 or 2 nights of handing out something will be pretty good. And then just try to get into some stores around town. So I'll give it to Miriam and say, send it to all your businesses, right?
Yeah.
So, so that's the plan now, but, so the questions now that should I just send this to you so you can, well, it's, actually, I'm just gonna read them, it's not a big deal. I'm not gonna read you all the options under each one, but so are you or any member of your household previously involved in any artistic activities such as music, painting, drawing, quilting, ceramics, acting, dancing, or singing, either at home or in the Gig Harbor community? And then we list a whole bunch of things. So I think what I need to, well, we have, like, I work with my hands, I do ceramics. You know, maybe we should add in, I'm an artist, I'm a maker, you know, so I'll add a few sub things to that. And then we ask why, then if they, once they answer, it says, why do you pursue these activities? Which is a good question, because you can compare on a national scale. And the last time it makes me, you know, feel good about myself, it makes me feel creative. So. The next one is thinking about any kinds of arts and cultural activities you might experience outside of your own home. To what extent do you disagree or agree with the following? And there's 4 things. The arts give me pleasure to experience or participate in. The arts can help unify communities. The arts can help us understand other cultures better, and the arts improve the image and identity of my community. So I've tried to pick some of these questions that are more about community, because that's our goal here. And if you want, I have Tiffany email this on to you.
Yeah.
How important do you think it is for the quality of life of Gig Harbor to have gathering spaces like museums, cultural events, theaters, art galleries, performance spaces, and music venues available? And they get to rate it from very important to not important. How important do you think to Gig Harbor's businesses and economy to have facilities such as museums, events, art galleries, et cetera? So this is really where we're kind of getting at with this. To what extent do you agree or disagree with the statement, the arts and cultural activities are an asset to the Gig Harbor community? So, and then how important do you feel it is to plan for the role of arts and culture in Gig Harbor's future? And which of the following do you feel Gig Harbor needs to consider in planning for public and private arts and cultural events? And it says residents, tourists, local business owners, nonprofit organizations, don't know. And then the other questions are basically, are you a resident and how old are you? So we can slice and dice.
Those are good questions.
So I think that I've distilled it down to really what matters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's total, even if you count the two, you know, like, do you live here and how old are you? It's a total of 10 questions, which I think is fine. I will also suggest we do, you know, there's a few open-ended questions in here, like at the end, we say anything additional you would like to add.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say,
Yeah.
that a blank space.
A
would be
blank
good.
space,
Okay.
and then when we ask about how is important for the future plans of Gig Harbor. We do offer them, can you tell us in your own words why you chose your answer?
Sure.
Because those are the remaining two, we did a few open-ended in the last one. But we get really good feedback from people who are engaged in that, and not every answer is great, of course it's not, but we do get some real good comments, so, which are really helpful.
Do you want to ask if they're a resident or for their zip code?
Well, we did both last time, and then we had all these zip codes, and
Then we had to like look them up.
then we had to look. I mean, I took it out, but I may be
Okay.
missing something, why do you think we should, because you asked for your zip code and your.
We did ask for zip code. Well, we were trying to see where people came from, and then, you know, we just sort it on the spreadsheet by zip code. I guess to make sure we're properly qualifying resident and to just know geographically where they're at.
Okay, I can add that back in, it's not a problem.
Yeah, and I'm
I
not,
can-
I
no,
don't
I
have a
think it's-
definitive, that was just.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just my, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, zip codes, but I see your point, yeah.
It was more, it was sort of a isolating analytics and then I don't, you know, and then just.
The thing is, I wonder if there's a way,
Like, cause maybe if you're asking if they're a resident of Gig Harbor, so what if they live on Fox Island? You know, do we consider that a resident? I mean, I would consider that part of Gig Harbor,
Yeah,
but again, it's just sort of a more qualifying.
well,
question.
right, and that's, I think, what some of the zip codes were, and that, the challenge is, I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but the fact is that you're technically not a resident if you live out on,
Like
what's
Katie
the
or
re-
Purdy or.
no, not Purdy, Peacock Hill,
Mm.
a
right?
lot of
Here.
people are not aware
Where the
about
boundaries
whether or
are.
not they live in the
Exactly.
city limits or
Yeah.
not. They think if they have a Gig Harbor address,
Yeah,
they live in Gig Harbor. They don't realize.
Thank you,
that
that's what I'm
They
trying
are
to.
Yeah,
an
this- yeah,
unincorporated. Pierce
exactly.
County.
And I only know that now because I put street signs out for yard signs, so I know incorporated, and I live
Mm.
within the city limits.
Mhm.
And there was the 4th of July ban. So I clicked
Oh,
on
so
the
you had-
image to
yeah.
see the tight corners.
You could
Yeah.
light off our.
Yeah, to see if I'm like, no, I can't, I'm
Yeah.
on the inside, but. Again, we would consider, I'm assuming we're still considering the broad.
Well,
We
and
want-
that's the thing,
Right.
so how do we, that's exactly my point, which.
We
I
don't
was
want the
stumbling
city of
about.
Gig Harbor.
We don't, because
Well.
people consider themselves living in Gig Harbor that are in unincorporated.
Yeah.
And we serve, the cities has
Mhm.
services that serve them,
Mhm.
right? Like the police serve them and the fire department serves them and.
They definitely feel like they're part of the community,
Yeah.
and I think that's the important part.
Yeah.
Right, exactly, so do we say? Does the zip code help determine that? Maybe we just say, what's your zip code instead, are you a resident? Or, I don't know.
I mean, I think it's fairly easy to sort a form, and even when we are producing the analytics, just chart it on a graph really quick, because there's
Mhm.
kind of some buttons and clicks for that.
Okay.
It may
well,
be clarifying.
We'll put that back in then.
Okay, sorry.
No, don't
I just
apologize,
want to
it's
make
great.
sure, or we define residents in parentheses, like,
Except they'll get confused by that.
I know,
It's
I just,
interesting.
yeah, so.
That's the challenge with Gig Harbor. it's
I'm
only
just kind
7
of playing
square
devil's
miles. No,
advocate
I'm
for
glad you
clarity,
are.
yeah,
But that's totally appropriate, that's why we're reviewing this.
yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll put it
and-
back in, I mean, you're right, that's why we did it,
Yeah,
but it's just, I think most people will say, are you a resident? So maybe we should see if we have unincorporated zip codes in here.
mhm.
I'll send her.
Yeah,
this
because I
out.
mean, even saying like, do you have a Gig Harbor address? Yes or no? Do you live within the city? A lot of people wouldn't, they might say, yes, I do live within the city limits, and they don't. So I mean, it's you, yeah, that you have to actually ask, it can't be a yes or no, because people won't know. Not everybody, I mean.
Are we wanting input from everybody or only within?
Well, if
I guess
it's a
what's the
trick,
purpose of the?
Right.
well, if people. The people who are unincorporated shop in Gig Harbor.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the point, right? So that's important to include them,
Yes.
because it's not like. You know, asking people from Tacoma.
Right.
Right, like, it's different if, you know, you wanted to see where you drew from for your event. particularly.
Right.
What I think what we're interested in is what does the people who are using the city and its services want?
Right.
Yeah.
So I do think it's important. And I guess we just need to check the surveys that we had, or the zip codes that we had, and make sure we've included everything.
Mhm.
And then we could just, then we can parse it, but it's also, we should include their answers, because it's important,
Mhm.
right?
And as far as where to send it, I think that it's nice to have it live, but we might get even more responses if we do have like Miriam at the chamber, send it out in her newsletter, the city, send it out in your newsletter.
Yeah, I have
and
it on
same
there,
with Carrie.
Gigabyte, maybe a Facebook post.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's great.
because we're already scrolling it and a lot of times there's already so many surveys on there, but it's a good place.
Yeah.
Because you're already at the computer, you're not
Mhm.
just walking about town.
Yeah, and oh, I'll do it later.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll ask Mary, Carrie Ann too.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
It's gonna be never ending. Phones are starting to blow up.
There's a crisis too. It's been a lovely couple. It's been a lovely couple days. I can't answer you right now, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think that'd be great. Okay, so I will send this out to you guys.
Mhm.
And then just send feedback by the end of next week, and then Tiffany, that should give you. How quickly do you think, I mean, how much time do you need to turn something around?
To put together a survey and.
Yeah, I mean, okay, and then, I think we talked about doing a QR code too. on
Yeah.
the form,
So I can talk to Josh about that.
okay,
Yeah. So once I think it's just deciding what questions you want. And then we can, figure out, finalize, I guess, how you want it to look, what the format is gonna be.
yeah, and then we'll print up a little card, and then we'll hand those
Okay.
out too, as well as the email address,
Okay, so that, we'll have to talk about that.
yeah. Take the money for the, Harbor Art. Print a
Yeah.
card. Can you do that?
So you're picturing a postcard with a QR code.
And and with a link too,
Uh-huh.
also on it, just saying, and then. Do you need me to write some copy about what we're trying to?
Yeah, we'll come up with some verbiage like for the postcard. Yeah, and then we can, we'll use the civic class, we'll do a form in the form center. Yeah, that'll work.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's it. Anything else you guys have to report?
No.
Anything updates on the mega markets for the summer?
No, we had one faux pas, so we're not able to use Scansy Park in the future because we're not city sponsored. So I'm looking into what it means to either get city sponsored or change the municipal code. So that.
Just a small thing.
So that'll be a follow-up. Chatting with Tiffany. I'm waiting to hear back from Katrina. I haven't, so I'm gonna bug Josh and Tiffany about that. And do a follow-up with the meeting with the mayor on our May 13th event, hopefully making it annual. I think that's sort of the consensus, but we need to have an official follow-up so that we can look into that.
So for the rest of the summer, do you need to move it?
Yeah, I went ahead and canceled our August and September. It's kind of a bummer because our overall just goal and mission since we started would be to be at Scansy Park because it's just, I think it's really fun and beneficial for the city to have just a monthly
Mhm.
makers market with music and food and so forth. And it's just sort of been a dream and we thought it came to fruition until the very last minute. Little municipal code. So,
Those quirky little.
yeah, but you know what, that's okay. So we're going to just pivot and get educated and so forth, and go from there. And actually, I'm contracted to run markets at Point Reston every Sunday, and PennMet has contracted us to have local so we have local makers in Point Reston, we have local makers at PennMet. I just need to get local makers in our own town.
Oh, no.
So, and we believe in quality over quantity, and so although we're blessed to have our reputation putting us in many directions, I just went ahead and canceled August and September for Scansy Park, and we will have our July and do it well and focus on those other opportunities that are filling August and September. So
Yeah,
I just have to figure out
Mm.
how to get us down there next summer, just like Port Orchard and just like, Tacoma has, because Port Orchard brings out thousands. Now they have people coming in ferry traffic from Seattle, so they do have a different draw. My friend Shannon runs those, and she works with their downtown waterfront district, actually hires her to do those. And so in February, when we had our meetings, we met with Downtown Alliance and Chamber and City just to kind of see who wanted to grab it. And I think the city was mostly at the time. So we'll just revisit and see what comes next.
Well, but that's good. You at least have other venues, so that's good.
Yeah, we will keep everybody busy and occupied, and I'm still in the works, knee-deep, trying to find retail as well. So I'm working, I have poked the people that are purchasing the former Frills location to possibly lease that space once they meet with the city.
Oh, and you could
there.
set up tents there and stuff.
No, to get back into retail, because we were in Harbor General Store.
Right.
Successful with retail. And so our people, again, we are in other places in Purdy and
Mhm.
Tacoma and so forth, but we still don't have retail space, brick and mortar, which at Maritime, people were like, well, where are you at brick and mortar? And we're like, oh, not in Egg Harbor. So we're still trying to find a local maker space.
Yeah, because then you gotta leave your town to go buy goods from the people
I
that
sent
make
people
them
to
in your
Purdy
town.
and Tacoma and Port Orchard to buy our goods or direct from our local makers. But it was so nice to just send people Harbor General Store, and we had $64,000 go through Harbor General Store in retail sales in 22.
Wow.
And so that's quite a bit of money going through. And then I'm also working with a private owner to maybe be purchasing some spaces. So a lot of my time spent organizing all of these things, but still trying to find it. So,
And are you trying to purchase this, or are you looking at spaces downtown?
yes, I've looked at several, and they usually fall through either because the owner has already chosen someone else, or the leasee has chosen someone else. So I've had a lot of, I've followed in, just missed a lot of opportunities, or have passed up some partnerships because it maybe wasn't the best or as good as. So right now I let my makers know, like, be sure to represent yourself. Like we have our candle maker just got into Frills. Like, go out there and don't rely on waiting for a local maker space, because it has its own benefits, but still build your business by going to partner yourself with retailers. So.
Well, it's interesting. So you were talking the Baileys, but they're that space, but they're not gonna be building for a while.
They're not building for a while, and they're actually putting some sort of, they're working, they already have a commitment for the house that's on the property. And then, yeah, they were looking at, I think, into like 5 years out for building.
If I would really like them, the husband came, I can't remember his first name, came to our.
I don't know either, I only know Michelle.
Yeah.
And
I know his name.
I know Michelle through Facebook and phone calls, but her husband came, and
Yeah.
I really would encourage them to, they weren't at the last one, but I
Mhm.
really hope that if you could chat with them about,
Yeah.
about coming to the September meeting.
Yeah, definitely. I'll make sure I bring it up again. I know they do a lot of traveling and boating, and so maybe September when people start to become grounded again.
Which is
I
why we're
don't think
not
they have
having
school
anything.
kids necessarily, but yeah, definitely get them back in um, and again, thought of them even, they've offered it up for markets and things, but when we had Scansy Park, I was like, but we have Scansy Park, and she's like, yeah, that's great, and a dream property, so. And it's just not quite
Well, and I think they're
ready
just,
for markets. right now.
right, and they're just still trying to, from what I understand, they're
Mhm.
still trying to figure out what they wanna do, so. They're
Yeah,
floating a lot of
a
ideas.
lot of ideas. I've talked
But,
with Carrie Ann about
yeah, so
that one
it's
too,
not-
and I'm like, let's see where they land.
It's, yeah, they haven't landed anywhere yet, but,
Yeah.
that's okay,
But
they're in
they're
their
good,
creative phase, and they're very engaged, so.
They are, I think food trucks was the last place that. maybe
Yeah, I
they
don't
were
think that
talking.
one's gonna fly, but, yeah, for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great, and
So
how
that's
about,
where we're at.
great, and how about you, what are you up to?
I mean, so it's tricky because a lot of the stuff that we do for our company is not, directly related to
Yeah.
arts. And so it's hard for me personally to find a way to insert, I guess, myself within the arts community because there's not that direct association. So they are quite separate right now from what we currently do and what this is, even though there are like some crossover, with the custom work,
Mhm.
because we're custom, so that's the thing, that's kind of where my interests lie, are more of the handcrafting and, that whole area. But it doesn't come as, I guess it's not as obvious right now in terms of how to insert
Well,
within this whole thing,
But
so I'm
you
still
as a
trying to figure it
person,
out. I know, yeah. I'm still
Regardless
trying to-
of.
Right, so
well,
I'm still trying to
I
figure
would
that out
just
right now.
say, like, just even saying, oh, it's easy with not being historical, that you have fewer restrictions.
Oh, yeah.
The
right.
knowledge you bring is.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to be involved with anything if it's like, the space that we're trying to find that I don't know how quite yet to do that. I know, because I think things are also tied to, the creative district that we're talking to, what the space even needs and how to go about that. So it's not something to.
Well,
you know,
I have some ideas.
I do
but
too.
I'm
My mind just
still trying to figure it out, yeah.
ideas.
Well, no, I think when we did, what area were you interested in? Did you
Okay.
put spaces and places?
I was gonna talk to you about that. I actually put in myself in like a different category. I had it, but I would like to switch over to spaces
Okay,
and places.
Okay, done, good.
Yeah,
Because I really would, because
I think
there's,
I was rethinking that later on. I was like, I did put down the wrong category, definitely.
yeah,
So.
well, you're not to switch, so.
I have my best thoughts in the car.
I totally do. I like.
Clarity. but-
Yeah.
Well, and also because I may be being introduced to some people. And I don't even want to talk, because it's just like, I should introduce you to so-and-so, they're interested in putting a space downtown.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, let me talk to them, but
Mhm.
that's all I know at this point. But somebody also supposedly has some money to put towards a space. So it's like, okay, well, what can that space, I want to meet with them, see
Mhm.
first of all if they're, that's what I say,
Mhm.
see if they're like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, see if they're willing to work with us and we will want to work with them. But I think you'd be invaluable when we're evaluating, like, is there a place downtown or
Mhm.
something that can be,
Yeah, I would
yeah,
love to. Yeah, like I
Okay.
said, I'm still trying to figure out what kind of role to play, I guess, and how to help, and so.
you'll find
It's
your
a little
way.
tricky right now.
You've been, what is this, your third meeting? I
I
don't know.
know.
You
That's
guys
true.
can, be easy on yourself.
Mhm.
Hey, Leah, I don't know if you've caught all of what we're talking about, but do you have any updates you'd like to share?
That looks fun. I wanna go there.
Oh, no, did we lose her?
Oh.
Oh, no, if that's the case, we don't have a quorum. When did she drop off?
Maybe
We don't
she's
have,
like,
we have 3 of us. Do we need more than 3?
Well, we're
Yes.
not making a vote, right? But we probably can't talk.
I was just gonna see if she emailed me.
She might have texted me, let me see. I heard my text going off, but I thought it was my sister, so I was ignoring it. I'm a good sister.
I was just gonna pull up the playground
Oh.
renderings.
She said, should I text Kat? She just said, my internet failed.
Okay.
should I text Cassie about Gallery Aerospace? I said, I'm gonna say, but I'll call you
Yeah.
and put you on speaker.
Oh, there you go. Was that called?
Oh, yeah, we'll just do that, that we've lost her via internet.
Is this like Crescent Creek update or what is it? What are we looking at?
Yeah, this is for the Gig Harbor Sports Complex.
Oh.
Hey, my darling. Hi. We thought we put,
It's so funny because I see you.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
you should turn off your computer and just come on speakerphone.
That's fine. It's webinar. All right, there we go. That's what's making that noise. Okay, so I'm very sorry. It's been very frustrating for me. But, Cass, I'm gonna talk about two things. I'm gonna talk about Art Walk. And
Good.
Cassie, you should know that, Gallery Row is closing. And the new owners of the building will be putting that space up for rent, starting in, I think, starting February.
Okay,
So I think supposedly a sign is gonna go up on the building.
I'm surprised Nico
shortly.
hasn't told me about that.
I'm sorry, can I say that again?
Nico,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's their building.
okay. So
I do
you
know
know
that.
him, and so.
Yes,
you can-
I was supposed to rent from him the blue cottage behind the building
Oh, yeah.
for myself because it's too small for local makers. And I turned that down because I told him initially I wanted Love of Spice, but she got Stacy to move in there. And then I said, well, let me know because I want to be on Harborview because that's what my business plan said is originally.
Right.
And so I'm
Right.
curious to see if he emails me or not, because he knows I already want to lease on Harborview. So that's great to know.
Yeah, you should kind of follow up with him. I
I
don't
will.
know, he hasn't been very nice to Gallery Row people, but,
Ah,
you know, he's the new landlord in
Yeah.
town, so,
he's young
You know.
too. This is his first project he's ever managed.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So you know that,
Great,
you know.
great,
And if you wanna talk to, well, whatever, anyway.
cool.
So that's
Awesome.
opening up.
Okay.
Art Walk, I'll talk about Art Walk for a second. We are having a meeting, on Friday, just to kind of talk about where Art Walk should be moving, what we should be doing in the future. Last month, we had a lot of people involved in Art Walk and, it can get bigger or it can stay, with the galleries in town, but we need to figure that out. And if it gets bigger, I think we need more people to be involved in that. I just saw a post on Instagram about Vashon Anna's Art Walk, and the entire community was involved. All the restaurants and everyone was involved. And I just saw another art walk, and it was wine and art walk. So the four of us can't make it that big, and if it wants to get that big, and if we should be that big, then we need to be a little more official and some other people get involved. If we just want it to be the galleries downtown and Gallery Row will no longer, you know, after this year, will not be involved. So we have some growing pains to deal with and deciding where we're gonna go with that. So that's where we're at with that. But I would say that on our Art Walk days, we have more people down in the harbor. I don't know if our sales are better, but you know, it's always the hope that if we get people down, sales will start, you know, moving up. So that's where we are.
So well, Leah, that's, you know, you and I have talked about the art walk too, and actually I find it, I wanna say, you know, props to you. You've done a great job with, I think what's drawing the people are the demos, you know?
Right.
And I think
Right,
that's really
right.
good. And, you know, are you still gonna have access to that outdoor area?
You know, we didn't find that people went over there.
Okay.
So we need insurance, we need to buy insurance for that space. So
Yeah,
if
I
we thought it was a viable place, we would, and I don't know if Cassie wanted to get involved in that space. It isn't, it's an outdoor space, and I don't know if you can put tents. They have a lot of restrictions.
What's the
But,
building name, Leah? I'm forgetting again.
Oh, I don't. you know, you
It's the
can't put Russell
foundation,
Building,
it's
so-
the foundation building.
Right,
It's
Right. I don't know, I can't remember what.
the really
it's
wealthy
called. It
foundation.
has-
Oh, the Russell building.
The Russell building.
And I'm like, what?
What do you call it?
The
Or
Russell-
It's the Russell building.
I've
Well,
heard,
it is the Russell Building.
yeah.
We're not allowed to use that name. So, I could find out, I can just look back into my emails, which I'm gonna do right now if I can find it really quickly. But, I can get that to Cassie if that would be something, and I can give you the connection because, Josie, who's part of Art Walk, knows a woman, who she actually organizes that outdoor space. And anyway, I won't say too much because I don't know too much about it, but that's another place to maybe consider. I don't know, they have a lot of rules and regulations, that's all I gotta say about that. Yeah, so I don't know, if any one of you has any thoughts of want to go, would want to be involved in that, definitely open. We just know that the four of us can't sustain a growing art walk. If there is gonna be a growing art walk, and maybe there shouldn't be, so, I think it's good for the community, but, again, where do we go with all of this? So,
Well, I think
growing pain.
we certainly put it on the list of the strategic planning for the city, for the creative district.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good, I think we should put it there, yeah.
Yeah, I think a couple of thoughts. Yeah, happy to talk to you about that. Where you're currently at, what your vision is, meeting with Carrie Ann and talking about it.
Okay.
You could even talk to Chuck Woodstock. I'm assuming you have.
Yes,
Yeah.
right,
I
Yeah.
mean, he could,
Yeah.
you could even bring in a winemaker and he could have wine or something fun and music in
Right.
his courtyard, because he owns it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you could have kids' activities, you could bring it to the sidewalks versus just inside galleries for the summertime so that it has greater exposure. And so forth. So yeah, we can chat about that, and I can completely feel your pain because it's usually just myself, maybe two other people running local makers. It's a lot.
right. It's a lot,
It's
and
a
so last time we had Gig Harbor Jazz play, but they played for free last time. And they won't play again for free, so if we are gonna get all of these
go through
people
the list.
involved, we need money, right?
Yeah.
And Chuck Woodstock could be that person, he's been away and he wants to be involved in Art Walk, but, he hasn't been around, and maybe he'll come to maybe he's in town and he's gonna come Friday to our meeting, so we'll see where it goes. And maybe really, the once a month, I said this to you last time, the once a month Maker's Day is the same as galleries doing their demos or whatever.
Yeah.
So artists doing demos, so maybe this is connected and should be one big package, I don't know, so anyway, just my thoughts on that.
Yeah, that would be a hop-in, fun, creative, interactive downtown if we can shoot for that,
Right,
next summer
right.
kind of thing.
Yeah, right, and that's the other thing, does Art Walk continue through the winter with galleries doing demos inside, or is it really a summer thing? So these are all decisions we need to make, and I'd love to sit down with you and have a conversation with you.
Let's do it.
Okay,
Great, all right, awesome. Okay, well, I think we're at 11:30. I've covered everything. Have you covered everything?
Yeah.
Everybody said we're good?
Yep. The only thing I was gonna show you was that you had
Oh, yeah.
asked about
Leah, I'll describe it, we're seeing a CAD drawing of a playground.
Oh, okay.
And where is this?
So this is the sports complex. This is a 3D rendering of the playground, and then they have, so I know.
The sports complex, is that the one that's the former golf place?
No.
It's
Or
no,
is it the
that's
one by the
over by
YMCA?
the Y.
Why?
Okay.
The former golf place is Penn Nest.
Oh, or soccer? Oh, yeah, that's Penn Nest. Is this city? Oh, is this
This
city?
is city.
Yes.
Okay, great, okay.
And I think, so I see panel opportunities for public art.
Mm.
So how do we make that happen?
I would say, yeah, I mean, we just have a conversation with Jennifer. I think that would be the best place to start. Discuss your ideas and,
So let's invite Jennifer to September meeting.
Okay.
Okay,
let's do it.
excuse me. And Leah, you heard that we're not meeting in August, yes, because you said.
Yeah, and that's great because I'm gonna be in New Jersey. So that's wonderful that we're postponing it to, September. Yeah, great.
Yeah, nobody wants to do anything in August. It's really
Yeah, I
true.
agree.
It's like, they don't,
Perfect.
Okay, great. Well, so Leah, unless you have anything else to add, I think we're gonna adjourn.
Okay,
And do I have to do anything special to adjourn, Tiffany, with the
Just motion to adjourn.
motion? I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
and I second that motion. Yeah.
All right.
Everybody does.
Thank
Thanks a
you.
lot.
Hey, guys, thank you so much. This was a really good meeting and I appreciate all your input.
Great.
All right, enjoy Sun Mountain. Bye.
I will.